This is BetMGM Tonight on the BetMGM Network.
Welcome back to BetMGM Tonight. Brother Big Noise Evans with you. Ryan Horvat in the house on this Manic Monday edition of the show. Hey, phone lines are still wide open. If you want to talk some fantasy football with us, NFL betting with us as well, MLB, NBA, NHL, maybe working a little WNBA, you can absolutely get a hold of us. All you got to do is pick up your phone and dial us fools at 833-732-3875. 833-732-3875. You can also hit us up on the X or the Twitter at BetMGM Tonight, where we have our pole dancing poll question of the day. And it's asking you this: take a bite out of the Big Apple. How many games does Jackson Dart start for the New York Giants this fall? Your options are 0. He's going to ride the pine all year. 1 to 5 games, 6 to 10 games, or 11 or more games. Over 245 votes cast. Make your voice be heard. Exercise your democratic right. Keep the votes are coming, and if you have any comments, fire those off. Because we're going to read those and give you a shout out coming up actually in the next segment. So keep bringing the noise on X at BetMGM Tonight. On X at BetMGM Tonight. Cubs up 7-6 right now on the Miami Marlins, going to the bottom of the 9th. I'll keep up to date and make sure, hopefully, this diehard Cubs fan, Horvat also a diehard Cubs fan, the bullpen doesn't swallow a grenade and they slam the door on Miami and get game 1 of that series again. Cubs up 7-6. And we got our eyes on baseball pretty much everywhere right now. The White Sox down 1-0 right now to the Seattle Mariners. Luis Castillo was absolutely dealing in this game for the first time all season long. He didn't walk anybody. Just my luck, because I just needed him to get a couple of walks. Didn't issue a single free pass. 7 innings, 3 hits. That's all he scattered. No walks, 5 strikeouts against the Southsiders. Milwaukee up 4-1 on Baltimore. Minnesota and Cleveland have resumed, and good news for Horvat is guy Logan Allen was not pulled after the lengthy rain delay.
Yeah.
So all he needs is one more strikeout there. The Cardinals up 5-0 on Detroit. Sonny Gray's been brilliant. He usually is at home. Colorado still up 1-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and they have a runner on second, though, 2 out against Philadelphia. So there you go. There's your updates on the scoreboard. Pittsburgh lost 7-1 to the Cincinnati Reds. So that is the first completed game of the evening. And a few more games to go. We got Kansas City taking on San Francisco. We got the LA Angels against the Sacramento A's. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks in LA to take on the Dodgers. So if you like some late night action and you miss any of the bets that we locked and loaded, you can always listen to the BetMGM podcast. Subscribe, download wherever you get your podcast, a BetMGM podcast. All right, with that business put aside, we got to get after it with another edition of the 3-Point Stance.
Ready, set, hike. Brad Evans and Ryan Horvat are lined up in their 3-point stance to blitz through every NFL team on BetMGM Tonight.
All right, this week we're covering the NFC East. We've already done the Dirty South, and the AFC South and the NFC South. Again, you can always listen to those team breakdowns, all fantasy, all betting as well, on the BetMGM Tonight podcast. Tomorrow, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be on the docket. Kind of an exciting team with some of the offseason moves that they have made. And then we're going to talk Washington on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're going to round things out with the reigning world champions there, the Super Bowl winners last year, and the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, let's go ahead and start off, though, with the New York Giants. And we're going to do things from a fantasy football perspective. And how we always like to break things down, it's all about fantasy value. So we have a discussion on ADP, whether that player is overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued based on the latest data. Let's start at the quarterback position. Again, we don't know when Jackson Dart is going to start. We asked Howard Crosser in the show, and he's like, yeah, we'll see how things go. Really has to break everything the right way in order for New York to rest him, put him on the pine, have him learn behind Russell Wilson and, of course, Jameis Winston. But their hand is likely going to be forced. As we have said, this team just does not have a high win probability overall in very many games this season. So Russell Wilson right now, the highest on the board among the New York Giants quarterbacks. Quarterback 29 early fantasy drafts, 209.70. So Horvat, I ask you the question, overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued for Russell Wilson, the Danger Witch at QB 29?
I'll say properly valued. I'd probably have him at like 30 or 31, right? But, I mean, it's just like you kind of know what you're going to get from Russ. If he does start double-digit games, probably 16 touchdown passes, 5 picks. That's what he did last year, which he doesn't turn the ball over a whole lot, but he's not even throwing 25, 30 touchdowns. He's not throwing for 3,000, 4,000 yards. And then as a fantasy option, when he was younger, man, he could give you anywhere from 500 rushing yards to 800. He had 849 yards. I believe that was in 2014, one of their better teams. But last year, only 155 rushing yards, doesn't really want to leave the pocket anymore, does not want to get hit. And again, we don't know how long the leash even is. So I'm going to say properly valued for Russ. He can still have some nice weeks. He could still hit the deep ball, the moon ball, but yeah, I'm not there with Russ, man. So I think 29, properly valued, I'll go with.
I'm going to say overvalued at 29. I don't think he's going to start like maybe a half dozen games. Their hand is going to get forced. The crowd is going to be screaming there at the Meadowlands. Start the Jackals. Start him now, for the love of God. You traded him for what reason? We got to see him play. He's going to go out there, take his lumps. They got to develop him and try to wash away some of the greenness that is tied to one Jackson Dart. Russell Wilson can still be a serviceable quarterback. Throwing that moon ball right outside the numbers that could be a match made in fantasy heaven at times. One of the league neighbors who gets supreme separation from his assignments. I just don't think this team is going to be all that good. And I know he's got the 5th easiest overall strength of schedule, but 7 games at most, I believe he will start. I think it's going to be 5 or 6. And then the Jackson Dart era is going to begin there in the Big Apple. All right, let's go to Tyrone Tracy. You better call Tyrone right now. So, guy that's a back end RB2 in 12-team formats. 103.01 is the ADP at that price point. Is he overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued, Horvey?
Man, I love Tyrone Tracy, Brad, but I'm going to say he's a little overvalued, right? Especially with some of these backs that are coming into the league. One of them being Cam Scattaboo, who I know right now is 3rd on the depth chart, but I think he'll surpass Devin Singletary and Eric Gray and probably take anywhere from 4 to 6 carries a game. I'm not quite sure yet how they're going to use him. The other thing I worry now, the defense in New York is going to be good. Giants pass rush is going to be an elite unit. I could see them being maybe even the top 5 unit. But with Tracy, man, if they are out of games or they're trailing, how often are they going to go to him? What I like is he could give you probably like 40 to 50 receptions. Last year had nearly 900 rushing yards. I like him a lot, but I'm going to say he's a little overvalued, at 23. I'd probably have him, to be honest, maybe at like 30, 31.
Yeah, I think he's slightly overvalued. I think 23 is bullish. I tend to agree with you there. I mean, you look at the final numbers, and, he had his moments last season. Like, saw it with the eye test, see it with the advanced analytics numbers. Like, he was impressive at times, to say the least. Converted wide receiver from Purdue, played really well down the home stretch. But, yeah, I think he's going to be probably somewhere in the mid to high 20s. When it's all said and done. Guy last season, number 24 yards created per touch, though just number 37 in yard per attempt and number 29 in missed tackles for. So those are just subpar, rather average advanced metrics. So, yeah, I'm with you. I say he's overvalued RB23. I wouldn't touch him at that price point. Let's go to Malik Neighbors. Wide receiver 6. Wow. 6 is the ADP, 10.57 overall. So knowing the turnstile that could be in order at the quarterback position, what do you say about Malik Neighbors? Ultra-talented dude, to say the least, but is he overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued at WR6?
I'll say properly valued, man, right? Like Jamar Chase, obviously, number 1. Justin Jefferson, 1B. CeeDee Lamb, Puka, and then St. Brown. those are probably the only receivers that I would still put over Malik Neighbors, even though it's year 2 and it's a shaky quarterback room, because last year he had like 150 to 160 targets and caught 109 balls, and that was a rookie. There's just certain dudes that I trust even with crappy quarterback situations. And again, it's Russ, it's Jameis, it's 2 vets that have won games, and then maybe it's Jackson Dart. So I'm still pretty high on him, man. I think 6, I'm going to say properly valued.
Yeah, I'll say properly valued as well. I don't feel all that great. Push comes to shove in a draft. Am I going to pay a wide receiver 6 price? Probably not, to be frank with you. But you look at Mike Clay's kind of projected for 150 targets, 95 catches, 1,241 yards, 7 touchdowns, and has him exactly at WR6. He was number 1 in overall target rate with 11.3 per game last season. Number 4 in total air yards. Number 11 in total yak. Number 5 in deep ball targets. Number 8 in total route wins. I mean, he was a stud, and he has the easiest schedule for a fantasy wide receiver this upcoming season. So put all together, yeah, I think wide receiver 6 is about right for Malik Neighbors. Let's do a little prop stop. Let's stick with Neighbors. Over or under 7.5 receiving touchdowns. The over at plus 100, the under at minus 130. What say you?
Man, if it was a free bet, I'd probably take the over, right? Like, I could see him having 8 to 10. But again, he had 7 as a rookie. We don't know how good that offense is going to be. We don't know how often they're even going to be in the red zone. So I lean over, but it's definitely nothing that I want to bet. It seems about right. I could see him finishing with 7 again next year.
Yeah, a slight lean to the under. I think it's 6 or 7, to be frank. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a properly priced number. And I understand the even juice on the over at 7.5, but I think the under lean is a right way to go with Malik Neighbors on 7.5 receiving touchdowns at a minus 130 juice. Here's a fun one. Let's go to the week 1 matchup because the line's already out. The Giants over under team total points against the Commanders in the opener, and they're on the road in that one, is at 18.5. Kind of a weird number. Minus 110 on the over, minus 110 on the under. What do you say? Over, under 18.5 team total points for the G-Men in the opener against Washington.
Man, I lean under, right? I think that's going to be a lower scoring game, especially with the Giants defense being much improved in that pass rush and Abdul Carter making his debut. The only reason that I would be a little nervous is the Commanders defense was much improved, but they were still outside the top 20 in most metrics. So I could see them scoring exactly 17. So I lean under on the Giants week 1 against the Commanders.
I lean under too, but you're right about the Commanders defense. It does give me the heebie-jeebies, to say the least. That is a team that I think is going to be kind of touch and go for them overall and how they can perform. Can they be even a respectable unit, like a top 20 unit? They played that way down the stretch, but overall in the season, they were number 22 a year ago in EPA per play D. Mike Clay's got it projected to be the second worst unit in the entirety of the NFL. I think that's a very bearish projection. I think they're going to be a heck of a lot better than that. And in the 2 games last season, the Giants scored 18 and 22 points against the Commanders with, craptastic quarterbacks at play. And I got, some respectability there with Russell Wilson. Maybe you get like Jackson Dart in the second start. But in the first one, it's going to be tight, but slide under. It could be like 17, 18 right on the nose on that number at a minus 110 juice as the Cubs just, I think, lost the game. Yes, they did. They just blew it. Yep, the Cubs blew it. They had 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and Palencia just gave up a double down the line. They lose 8-7. Absolutely brutal way to finish that game. All right, let's do a little team lean. Over under on wins 5.5. The over at plus 120. The under at minus 145. What say you? And I got to collect my thoughts because I'm ticked the Cubs just blew this.
I hate this bullpen. Yeah, same here, dude. And I can't even watch it unless I'm watching it on my damn phone in this room. So that sucks as well. Yeah, I'm going to lean over, actually, only because, and I wouldn't bet this, it's the Giants, dude. They could go 2-15. But the only reason I lean over is I do like Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka. They're pretty much coaching for their jobs and that defense. But that schedule for the second straight year is just brutal. 6 of their 8 home games are against teams that made the playoffs. And, I get your division's pretty good, and you have the Eagles and Commanders. But I'll say over only because I think they finish with exactly 6.
Oh, exactly 6. All right, 6. I'm going to take the under. I say they finish with exactly 5. I don't know what's juice in the under. but this team is going to be not great. The fourth hardest overall strength of schedule is what they have right now. Number 27 in team offense is a projection from Mike Clay. Though the defense, these guys are the top 6 unit, and that's going to be the key for them. If they're that good, I'm going to look like a giant boob betting the under, but he only gives them a 50% plus win probability in 3 games. I think 5 wins is all the Giants are going to log this season. All right. We got to exit stage left. Take a little siesta here on BetMGM tonight. When we come back, we're going to view our cards. Don't you go anywhere. This is BetMGM tonight on the BetMGM Network. Stupid Cubs bullpen.
Don't go anywhere. Brad Evans and Ryan Horvat will be right back with more Wagertainment on BetMGM Tonight on the BetMGM Network.